What is up, gamers? This is the PlayStation Gamer. Today, I am not so much responding to the video itself. Well, I guess I kind of am, but I'm also just going to be talking about the topic he brings up in general. Because, man, if I'm going to be honest, I I know I've been talking about Xbox a lot lately, but it's because, like, Xbox is, like, of the big three, they're the ones that are just they ain't got their shit together. Sony, Nintendo, much as I don't like Nintendo, at least Nintendo got their shit together. At least the Mario movie's doing well. At least there's some Tears of the Kingdom coming out. Sony's got Spider-Man, coming out, possibly in September. And they're going to have this possible showcase of it. You got Final Fantasy 16 coming out. Meanwhile, Microsoft is just, like I said in the previous video, there's just been a lot going on that just has not been in their favor. Yeah, by the way, shout out to Broken Games HD, if you guys also can't tell.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Broken Games HDR back at it again with another video. And in this video, we're going to be talking about that Phil Spencer interview that he just did with Kinda Funny Games. The interview was about 40 minutes. Wish it was a little bit longer. Man, you got to love Phil Spencer interviews, right? Got to love them. Phil Spencer interviews will always set the timeline on fire. But
True.
in the last video that I made about Phil Spencer, where I spoke about him doing interviews, I said Phil Spencer needs to shut up. And even though I'm glad he speaks up from a content creator point of view, I think from a business point of view, that still stands that he needs to shut up. Because I just don't think that the takeaways from this interview were necessarily positive. And if Xbox fans are honest, this is not what they wanted to overall hear, because a lot of people's takeaways from this interview was kind of like conceding, waving the white flag. They feel like Phil Spencer has like a loser mentality and he doesn't have like a competitive nature.
You know what? Now I'm thinking about it, I kind of agree with that mentality. It's so funny because, like, Phil Spencer's always been kind of those guys. He's always trying to be like the cool uncle. Hey, kids, I play video games too. He's kind of got that attitude, but it's like, dude, you're executive at Microsoft, one of the biggest companies in the world, if not the biggest. You need to start having a bit of that cutthroat attitude, because, like, man, Broken Games will get into it, but it's like, I feel like this Xbox, this Xbox will be the death of the Xbox brand. That's honestly how I feel right now.
That competitive nature that like the executives of Xbox that they had during the 360, that does not exist now.
Nope.
That they are okay with just being in their own lane.
A previous recording, because I recorded before this, but it wasn't good. I kind of compared Sony to saying like Sony's like a big blockbuster movie. They're like in a kind of a way. They're kind of like those big Hollywood blockbuster movies you see get heavily advertised. Like for example, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Right now it's the big hot thing, and look what's everywhere. Big advertisement campaign for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Chris Pratt and all of them are going on like these press tours. Now, while Sony doesn't do exactly that, they go out of their way with kind of these big stunts, these big things to do, like, playing an ad during a halftime during an NBA, playoffs game, or, renting out, or I guess you technically, painting, a subway car in Spider-Man colors, advertising the Spider-Man game, or putting like statues, of items or characters from PlayStation games around the UK, or even like when the PS5 launched, they actually had like these. I forget exactly what areas they were in, but there was these spots where they had like these PlayStation advertisements playing. It was like PS5, live, play, whatever. I was like, you don't see Microsoft do that stuff. Microsoft used to do that stuff, but now it's just like they just don't care. They have the advertising of a TV show on Tubi. Sony's been going on these ways with those big stunts and all that shit, and Microsoft's like, here's the Game Pass commercial. Like the games on Game Pass have become an advertisement for Game Pass, not the other way around. Game Pass hasn't become an advertisement for games.
Now and just existing in harmony and not really competing.
Getting that real kumbaya vibes, right? That's the kind of vibes I'm picking up. You know, I remember, I can't remember when it happened, but I remember there was like this whole, you know, all the fanboy circles, they were all doing this kumbaya, my lord vibe energy. That's what I'm picking up from Microsoft. They're at the camp where there's the alternative veggie snacks for everyone. There's a soy plate, and there's, you know, everyone's holding hands and telling each other equally special. You know, Sony and Nintendo are the kids at the camp, you know, being the shit out of each other. The Microsoft trying to be like, okay, kids, okay, now make sure to have some of those low carb snacks.
He said it very plainly. They've been saying this kind of for a while. They really don't have any desire to outdo the competition. Speaking specifically of Nintendo and PlayStation, that's not what they don't. That's not what they're trying to do. But I think that's actually a detriment to Xbox and the Xbox fans, because as a result, I think because you don't feel that fire and desire to necessarily compete with the other two, that results in the products you get. When you got a fire lit under your ass and you feel like you have to dominate, so to speak, then I think
when you feel like you got something to prove, that's when you try to put your best foot forward. But if you feel like you got nothing to prove and you're complacent, you know, happy where you are, you just stand still.
Products will be a result of that. But it's like this complacency and this. So just to get into a few topics, in quotes that he said, the ones that you know stood out to me. So, you know, he spoke about the creative freedom, and you know, I put up like this Xbox, this Phil Spencer bingo card, of all the stuff that he was probably most likely going to mention in the interview. He damn near hit like 90% of the stuff that was on the bingo card. Very predictable because he touches on the same things over and over again in every damn interview. So he touched on like creative freedom, allowing the studios to have their creative freedom, letting Rare do Sea of Thieves, letting Obsidian do Grounded, letting Tango do Hi-Fi Rush, and not pigeonholing them into what they feel they should do and what they want them to do, which PlayStation does that too, right? He says, and one of his quotes was, "We build games that review in the 80s and review in the 60s. It's just part of the game."
It's so funny. Phil, I actually did watch the interview. Phil Spencer said that. I was like, wait, 80s? Bitch, your game should be shooting for 100. You should be shooting for the 90s. But 80s that's high for you. Okay.
Games industry, but when the review is low, it does surprise him. The only issue I have with this statement is there's a meeting between creativity and quality. And I think to kind of say that just because you're being creative, that sometimes that may result in a low score, and to like kind of just be okay with that, I don't like that.
Me neither.
I personally don't like that. Yes, sometimes being creative will absolutely lead to failure. Like that's one of the I bring up Dreams. Dreams is something very creative that nobody gives a damn about.
Mm-hmm.
But the mentality to kind of accept, like, yeah, we're going to be creative, and sometimes that may result in us landing in the 60s. I don't know if I like that mentality coming from Phil Spencer, right? I just think that like and developers talk about this all the time. The trying to find that balance between creativity, but something that sells millions and millions of copies, sometimes that is hard. But that's the bar that you have to set. That's the standard you have to set. You have to do that. So just kind of accepting that sometimes that's gonna happen. No. No, I think you have to like truly aim and develop with intention to be creative, but also have a very quality game that's going to be reviewed well. And not that it's all about reviews, but the mass consumer feels like this game is creative, but also quality and truly amazing. So that's what I'll say about that. Then he goes on to speak about mock interviews and speaking about Redfall specifically, right? So
Interviews, I think he means reviews. But yeah, I've heard about this. I was watching David Jaffe's thing when he was watching the whole thing, and he was like, "Yeah, mock reviews are just kind of used for marketing, or at least in his experience, they were." And it was just like, you know, like mock reviews are like supposed to give you like a general idea where you think the game's gonna go, but Jesus Christ, I want to know like who the fuck were reviewing this game for Microsoft and we're scoring like in the double digits. There were people like apparently they were saying like this game was gonna be like an 80. Redfall, and I'm like, no, Redfall was never gonna be 80. It does not matter how good the game runs. This game's still a piece of crap. Just it's outdone by fucking Dead Island 2. I've been playing through Dead Island 2. I find that game a hell lot more fun than when I see people play Redfall.
he said that based on mock interviews and internal metrics, that Redfall, the final like Metacritic, the final review score of Redfall was double digits lower than what they thought it would be. So
What?
their internal metrics and mock reviews had Redfall somewhere up here. It was that, it turned out to be down here. Fire all of them. Get them out of here.
I agree with Broken Games right there. Fire them. Whoever told you this game was going to be like in the 80s and end up being in the 60s, you need to fire them because they do not know how to gauge the typical gamer's taste. They don't.
They're trash. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what people look for in video games. Whoever makes these internal metrics, whoever did these mock reviews, should never touch a controller again in life. They are morons. They are stupid. Listen, and I usually don't call out names in my videos, but listen, I'm sorry. The people who flew out to play Redfall, like these influencers like Colt Eastwood, who and I was willing to, throw Colt some bail before, right? Because, they
Colt Eastwood, one of the biggest shills for Microsoft I have ever seen. He's a bigger shill than Crap Gamer. How you do that, I don't know. But at least Colt Eastwood gets a free Xbox from from Microsoft. At least he gets a free game. At least he gets flown out and allowed to do these like press things. Crap Gamer just does it all for free. So which one's worse, the guy who does it for free or the guy who actually gets paid?
Put them on the best rigs and everything like that. High-end PCs. They didn't play on the Xbox. So when that was said, before the game was actually came out, I was like, okay, that's understandable. Like they kind of gave y'all the trick. They tricked y'all a little bit.
They gave you the sleight of hand. They gave you this is what you could expect from these games. Because the idea is supposed to be like, this is supposed to be like the average experience, and the console experience will be somewhat similar. But you didn't get that. You got like this, sliced down vertical slice of the game that was like, this is the only part that makes the game look good, at least at this point in development. Colt Eastwood fell for it, fucking hook, line, and sinker. Like they got him good. Hey, you thought this game was gonna be like a Game of the Year contender. It ends up being like one of the worst games this year.
They pulled a fast one on y'all. But when the game released now and we've played it and we all have high-end rigs, I'm like, no. There is no high-end rig that in the world that you could have put Redfall in front of me and I would have been like, yeah, this is a good game and I'm excited for it. No, it doesn't exist. This could be a rig touched and blessed by Jesus. I would have been like, this game is garbage. I assure you, there is. I don't care what vertical slice, what part of the level you could have put me in. I would have been like, no. There's no way. It's not possible.
You know what vertical slice they got? The vertical slice they got was $100,000 in their pocket. $100,000, a couple dollars, whatever. Hey, we'll give you a free copy of this game in a year Game Pass. Just make sure you say it's good. That's your honest review.
You were blinded. They caught you with the okie doke, and it wasn't even a good okie doke, but you fell for it.
Okie doke? is this a new phrase I'm not familiar with? I swear to God, sometimes Broken Games and Black Bond, these guys go to like the weirdest shit I've ever heard in my life. Yeah, for the record, I'm not the biggest fan of the Broken Games, Black Bond. I love Kid Smooth unironically because like the man's such a Xbox shill. It's just like Crap Gamer. He just does it all for free. The fucker still advertises this Mixer. Funny enough.
Sorry, bro. You're not a good measure. You don't have a good measurement of quality in good games. No offense, but you, all the influencers, Holt Eastwood and the rest of them, not a good measurement. They don't know how to analyze good quality games. You don't. Same thing with the mock reviewers of Redfall. You don't know what you're talking about. And there are a few people who went up there and played the game and said, no, I don't think it's very good. There were like maybe 2 that I know of. They think it's average. Rest of them like, oh, it's great and I can't wait for it. Don't touch no controllers no more. Y'all are banned from controllers for the rest of the week. So yeah, the mock reviewers, idiots, morons, get rid of them, all of them. He also went on to say that with Redfall, they kind of left Arcane Austin to handle the game on their own, and he admitted that they need to engage earlier in the development process.
Earlier, bitch, you just need to engage. God, Phil, I actually forgot he said that part. Wow. No, Phil, what you need to do is you need to have someone come down there and, fucking run roughshod on him basically like Sheihei Yoshida did. I was watching the David Jaffe, thing about this whole interview, and he was like, when they heard Yoshida was coming down, their butts were clenching. Because he's a friendly guy, he puts on a good face, but that man could also be cold as ice. He will just tell you straight up if he does not like your game. There's this infamous story about God of War 2018 where he went to Santa Monica Studios. He got to play a bit of the early God of War game, and they asked like, "Well, what do you think of it?" He's like, "I don't like it." He just bluntly said he didn't like it. He didn't sugarcoat it. He just said, "I don't like it." That's the kind of person Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, whoever's in charge of their studios needs to be. They need to not be everyone's friend. They need to say, "Hey man, this ain't good. You gotta fix this. You gotta do something else." You need someone who's not trying to make everyone happy. You don't let your employees run a restaurant and expect a quality product when all they're doing is the same stuff they've been doing for years, but shittier. I don't know. I don't know how to come up with a better analysis, but let's continue.
So they can steer teams properly and be more involved. And he said that, he's saying that he doesn't really want to make promises anymore, and he just wants the games to speak for themselves, essentially. And
going back to the fucking Jim Ryan line, what was it, their showcase of this they did a while back? They was like, just let the games do the talking. Just show the games, and they will do the talking. The executives don't need to be telling you. They don't need to be hyping you up. Just show us the games, and that's all you need to do.
And that's why he spoke about Starfield, but he's trying not to make any promises because he knows they don't really hold any weight. But he's saying they kind of did that with the Starfield process. They became involved with it earlier in the review process, in the development process, than Redfall. So it's kind of like this debate. Well, should they be more involved? Should they be less involved? Man, we've talked about that a lot. They got to find the right balance and the right the science to it. But I think their studios is at the point where you can't leave them.
No,
you
can't leave them by themselves.
Much.
And
other companies have development studios where it seems like, yeah, we can leave y'all alone to y'all own devices, and we'll do our checkups and stuff like that, and we may need to tell you something here and there.
Yeah, Sony does that. Go back to the whole Sheihei Yoshida thing. Now, I think with like Insomniac and Naughty Dog, and I guess you would kind of say Guerrilla's starting to get in that position where they're like, we'll kind of put our faith in you. But like smaller studios, like Ben Studios, freaking Sucker Punch and all that, I could guarantee some executives going around every couple, maybe like once or twice a year, and look at what they're working on, saying, "Okay, hey guys, I got some notes for you. You might not like them, but you need to hear them." Like the guy who does that might not be like the most knowledgeable about what gamers' taste is, but at the same time they know, like, no, we know what sells, and right now we're telling you, you got problems.
But they got to figure that pipeline and that process out. He did mention, like, he sees the Twitter, the calling on Twitter, fire Phil. He kind of takes that on the chin. He knows that comes, everything, the buck stops with him, as they like to say, and he understands that, and he kind of made a joke about him being fired. I don't remember his exact statement, but some people are kind of like alluding that some people are saying that's him, like alluding to him possibly losing his position. I don't think that's. Sorry, I think my mic just peaked a little bit right there because I moved it. I don't think that's actually going to happen. But some people are reading into that. He did say now that some people you could decipher this in however you want. I do want to be fair about this. So he said more people are playing Age 2 than Hi-Fi Rush, and I believe he's specifically talking about on the Xbox platform. And yeah, Age 2 was remastered, and yes, Age 2 has a multiplayer
Age of Empire 2. I think that's what he's referring to.
Component, and it has more legs and replayability. But I still think that's somewhat weird that it's a remaster, but it's a game that came out in 1999, and I'm a big Age fan. Love it. I played it as a kid, but it's a game that came out in 1999.
Same. I love the Age of Empire series, flaws and all. Probably one of the few franchises they have that actually could keep me going. That and State of Decay. I've got tapped out on Halo and Gears.
It's not a remake, it's a remaster. So it's a game that came out in 1999, and like, okay, it just came out in late January, and I don't know, like, to say Age 2 is being played more than Hi-Fi Rush, that to me that kind of points to maybe that stealth drop isn't the best decision. You don't market and promote your games enough, yada yada yada. I just don't know about that one. I don't know if that's a positive thing. It's just, all that stuff is just very questionable. Because at the end of the day, like I said, it's a game that came out in 1999.
Yeah.
Even though it's on the Xbox.
Well, it's also got a lot of nostalgia attached to it, like to people like me and him. Like, hey, we could play Age of Empire on our console. Never thought we'd see that day. But yeah, that stuff dropped for Hi-Fi Rush. I don't think that helped them. It helped, like, oh, cool, this is like, a game they dropped all the time. But this is a game that could have been, an easy, AA budget game that they could advertise pretty heavily. And they just dropped it, and it was like, oh, people like this? What a shock.
For the first time, came out in 1999, bro. So this is towards the end of the interview. More quotes from him. He said, I see commentary that if you just build great games, everything would turn around. It's just not true. That if we go off and build great games, all of a sudden you are going to see console share shift in a dramatic way. Now, full context, he's talking about the console market share, and he's saying that because last generation was the generation where people really started to build their digital library. So he's saying the digital library is really what are keeping people in the ecosystem that they currently are. And it's hard to pull people away regardless of like how many like amazing games you drop. I just disagree with that. Some people,
I do too.
There is some validity to it's hard to bring people out of their ecosystem that they're very comfortable with. No doubt about that, not denying that. But it's not about getting people to abandon where they are or getting people to sell, the console they have because they have a digital library. It's not about that. People are not buying Xboxes.
That's that's the truth to it all. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. It's not getting people to abandon PlayStation for Xbox and be Xbox only. It's about getting people just to get in your ecosystem to begin with. That's the problem. Yeah, Game Pass has a lot of almost zero barriers. Cool, that helps a little, but your Xboxes are still suffering because you don't have any big games that can really be like, hey, go buy an Xbox to play this. That's the problem. That's you need to get them in your ecosystem, and the best way to get them in your ecosystem is either Game Pass or the Xbox. But it's probably better to do it through the get them on an Xbox, cause they'll buy your fucking games if they're interested in it.
It's like the numbers are down. The hardware sales are down.
Yep, they're down 30%. The series consoles sales numbers are down 30%. Normally, I don't give a shit about sales numbers and shit like that, but that's a problem. That's a serious problem. When your console sales are down 30% and your competition's just now breaking the threshold, they broke a barrier that no one else has broken before. First company to sell 500 million consoles in their entire existence. They're the first to do that. PS5 is responsible for that. And meanwhile, your sales are going down.
It's literally coasting at the same rate with the Xbox One. They said it's sold like 500,000 more at this point, or maybe 500 to like 1 million more than the Xbox One. That's not great. That's not great. Like, especially since the gaming market has grown like exponentially. I just don't think that's true. I think, like, what did he say? He said there's no world that Starfield is there's no world that if Starfield gets an 11 out of 10, like rave reviews, that people are going to start selling their PS5s. No, they're not going to start selling their PS5s. But will they start buying Xboxes? That's what it's about. You don't got to get people to sell what they already have, but you can get them to invest in what you're selling by putting out quality products.
Right on point. Right on point. It's not about getting people to sell the PlayStation. No. Or their Switches. No. It's get them to buy your damn Xbox. And if Phil Spencer doesn't understand that, then there's a bigger problem at Xbox. Bigger problem.
That's what it's all about. But you're not. So that's just a lie to me. That's just a lie that people are so stuck in their ecosystems that they won't go anywhere else and try anything else. I just don't vibe with that.
100% proof that's not true at all. I'm a PlayStation guy, but you know what? I've been buying PC games. I actually subscribe to Game Pass on my, piece of shit laptop. I am willing to leave my comfortable PlayStation, ecosystem for a game that I'm interested in. Microsoft, they don't have a lot of games I'm interested in. I am not subscribed to Game Pass anymore. I was subscribed to Game Pass to play Minecraft with my friends. That's it. And only because I, got it somewhat cheap. I got it on technically a discount, I think. Because my Microsoft account, which you have to have when you have a computer that's got Microsoft Windows on it, technically never got Game Pass, so I got I think I got a discount or something. I can't remember exactly, but yeah. Gamers go to games. Microsoft, you don't have games that are selling Xboxes. You need games to sell Xboxes. Simple as that.
I just don't believe that. I think that is untrue. Parts of what he's saying have validity, but holistically, I just do not believe that is true. People, we have seen it. People have it, and yes, he's right about, like, he did say that before generations were a clean slate, now people carry luggage with them, which is their digital library. That is true, but this thing where people, oh no, I just won't leave no matter what because of my digital library. No, I don't believe that. I just don't believe that. I think maybe hardcore gamers probably care about more of their digital library than casuals, and there's a certain percentage of, like, hardcore gamers make up of like of the console market, and that part, that percentage is what will create that gap in market share of where you can get the hardcore to and impress the hardcore enough to come over to your platform. That gap of hardcore is what makes a difference. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't believe that. Let me see what other quote he said. Yeah, he said we lost the worst generation to lose in the Xbox One generation, where everybody built their digital library. It's not a clean slate. Yep, said that. Yeah, like a lot of this just sounds like it's just loser mentality, is what a lot of people are calling it. Where he's conceded, he literally admitted. I mean, yeah, he said that they're in third place, and that they can't compete with Nintendo and PlayStation, and he said that we're not in the business of out consoling Sony and Nintendo. There isn't really a great solution or win for us. I know that it will upset a lot of people. It's just the truth of the matter that when you're in third place in the console market and the top two players are so strong, and like, what? And they have certain cases very discreet, focus on doing deals, and others. It makes it very hard for us.
And yeah, at that part, even I was kind of like, is Phil trying to throw shade at Sony? Because, the whole, third-party exclusivity. But it's like, Phil, you have money. Just go to Square, be like, hey, that new Final Fantasy side project you have going on, we want to buy that. But no, because you're Mr. Friendly, Mr. Organic Snacks, we don't want to take games away from people. Well, then you know what? You're going to lose out. You're going to lose out, sucker. That's how it is. Whoever's willing to throw down the cash for the game are the ones who are going to get the game.
As the Xbox team, and he said that's on them and not anybody else. Bro, it just seems like, bro, we can't do anything. So we can't do anything. So we're going to stay in our little bubble and kind of live here and maybe like thrive here. And I think, once again, that does not help Xbox fans, because that mentality does not help create the products that they deserve or should get. I think PlayStation has the mentality that not literally when I say this, but they want to dominate Xbox. They want to destroy Xbox, not literally, but perceptually, at least. They want to literally destroy them and dominate them. And you kind of see that effort. You see the results of that. But Xbox is kind of like complacent and like, yeah, we're okay, just like, being happy in our own little bubble, in our own little vacuum, and kind of making the fans happy. And it's like, bro, I just don't think that's the right mentality to have. I don't like that Phil Spencer is just he just is content with being this good guy, and he doesn't have any real competitive nature. Bro, bring back them dudes from the 360. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
bring them back. Phil Harrison and the rest of them dudes.
Don Matrick.
Yeah, it's, man. No, like you got to bring back the old regime, because these guys, this mentality ain't right. This ain't doing it. So I think, oh yeah, he did bring up that he did say that there will be a clear message as far as Starfield goes, as far as the frame rate goes, but he didn't say. They kind of softballed the question. They didn't ask him directly, is it going to be 60 or 30? But he said there will be a clear message as to what it would be. His demeanor made it seem to me like he was kind of confident that it's going to be 60, because he didn't seem worried, but who knows? Yeah, I don't know, man. Let me know what y'all think about this this interview with Phil Spencer. Don't think I don't think I don't think it instilled a whole lot of confidence. This is not like the aggressive and like pit bull mentality that you want the ones that is making products for you to have. It's just not. It's kind of weak, bitch made. It's like I hate that like everybody thinks that like, for example, all athletes have to subscribe to the Kobe mentality, that you have to be like just like literally the Mamba and like have this killer instinct all the time. I don't like that they, hold all athletes to that. But I feel like, listen, and I feel like Phil Spencer is supposed to have that here, and he doesn't. It's just very laid back and kind of soft and little bitch made. I don't like it. And like I said, sometimes he needs to stay quiet. Like I don't know if it helps him. And every time he does like an interview, it's always them on their back heel.
Mm-hmm.
It's always an interview to like on something defensive or reactive. You know what I'm saying? They're always on their back heel trying to defend, go on a PR run to like defend something. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think about this. Good old Phil Spencer. He's definitely on the hot seat a little bit. Let me know what y'all think. Follow me on Twitter. Hit the like button. Hit the notification bell so you can know anytime I do a video. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
Yeah, I'm kind of same camp here. I'm tired of the little bitch energy. Phil Spencer needs more. To put it best, he needs to have that killer energy. He needs to stop being a chihuahua. He needs to be a pit bull. He needs to have that bite in him. Instead, it's just like, yeah, we might be making a good game here and there, but that's their attitude. So I know this was kind of a weird thing because I actually agree with the video I'm watching, but it's like, this is basically my sentiment. Like, Phil Spencer he's soft. He's a soft boy. He's a soft boy. He doesn't have that energy executives should have. Someone who's in charge at Xbox. Instead, he has the energy of someone who's just like, well, we're just gonna do our own little thing, be our own little circle. It's just like, well, bitch, then don't be surprised when people don't like your shit. So until next time, guys, this is That PlayStation Gamer. Yeah, tell me what your guys' thoughts about this whole thing. Personally, I think it's insane. And until next time, peace out. Have a good day. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all the YouTube algorithm BS.